Welcome back, and keeping our focus on the Senate Mace theft and the associated or attendant drama. We've got two gentlemen to weigh in on that. First, we have Professor Oyelowo Oyewa. Thank you for coming on this morning. Good to see you again, sir. And then we also have Peter Omoijade, who is a member of the strategic team of NIM. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, let me start with you, Prof. I mean, there's been lots of reactions about this. But when you heard it, and then before you eventually saw it, because I assume that that's the sequence in which it happened, what did you think?
Well, the first thing that I thought is that, look, these politicians are at it again. Because you know the location of the National Assembly, the security, how close it is to Aso Rock. So you assume that it's an impregnable, fortress, as it were, and that if anybody should attempt such a thing, it will be swatted like a fly. And for these people to come in, seize the maze, make an exit, and disappear into thin air, it's high drama. So which means it must have been a plot that had been thought out and had the support of some members of the National Assembly, particularly the security side. And if you look at the whole origin of this drama, it's a conflict, in the House, particularly with respect to the Electoral Act, amendment, and those who are pro-executive and those who are pro, the legislature, in being able to assert their authority to determine the course of the election, whether there's self-interest there, whether there's national interest there. We find a situation where the Senate is divided. And the actors on both sides start to, result to self-help, as it were. And this has brought, shame to the National Assembly and to the hallowed grounds of the Senate.
One prof said that he thought these politicians are at it again. I thought, wait a minute, NIM, is it a political party yet? Can I describe you as a politician? But NIM has a unique position about the scheme of things and politics particularly. But when you heard this, what was your thinking?
Well, the immediate reaction was that what took place is really a prime sample of misplaced gallantry in a society of a society that is out of joint. It's the height of lawlessness. We are fast approaching a situation where the people might be forced to conclude that it's unlawful to be law-abiding in a society where the leaders are lawless. What happened was not accidental. It was not an accident. It was planned. A deliberate attempt by a section of politicians to keep us engaged while they consolidate their present misrule.
Who do you think planned it?
A section of the National Assembly, for example, like what the Prof said, and I agree totally with him, that there was division in the House as a result of the amendment to the Electoral Act. So you have the pro-Buhari group in the House who were opposed to the sitting of the National Assembly as at the time the Mace was snatched.
Is it a sitting or just a particular amendment which they were planning about the elections?
Well, like what we read in the papers, some members of the Senate were penciled down for suspension. But to preempt that decision, the Mace was forcefully snatched. It's a symbol of authority of the National Assembly. If the Mace is not there, it could be very difficult for them to sit.
Let's explore that from the point of law. Mace or no Mace, if they sit without the Mace, is there any law that says whatever actions or decisions they take there will be invalid?
Basically, there are decisions of our court that have set down how a parliamentary proceedings can, proceed. You remember the case of Inakoju and Adeleke. Before then, we've had hazy, position of the law. This is the case in which they went to sit in a hotel. And the court had to look at what constitutes a parliamentary sitting. And some of the, elucidation by the court was to express that, one, it must be in the hallowed, confines of the parliamentary sitting venue, and following the due procession. And the procession for parliamentary is always preceded by the mace, which is placed, and to signify the commencement of proceedings. So the mace has come to be associated all over the world with parliamentary
proceedings. If they snatch the mace and somebody else puts another instrument there to fill that space, would that suffice?
Like the belt. Obviously, it would not. That was why they were quick to produce another, mace to constitute themselves into the sitting. They broke into executive session to discuss, but when the mace was, restored, not the one that was stolen though, a replica, it must be a copy of it, they were able to proceed.
So putting a copy of the original mace there, does that in any way authenticate it? Does it give it authenticity?
I believe it does, because the essence of it is the symbol. The mace is a symbol. And the mace, it can be broken. We've seen it. It's been used to break people's head in Rivers State. So, of course, the parliamentary experience will have, informed the production of mace in multiple, instead of, because this kind of drama, it's not the first time it's happening, even in the National Assembly. 18 years ago, we had the mace, captured by the then president of Senate, Okadigbo, until the police had to go and, take it back from him. So this drama has informed the preemptive action or the caution of having not just one mace, but, being produced in replica.
Mr. Moijade, what do you think will give any individual the effrontery to, because this looks like taking the nation ransom. I'm not saying it is. It looks like you're daring to hold the nation to ransom. What will give an individual that kind of effrontery?
First and foremost, we must realize that this is not the first time people are tampering with the mace. The crisis that engulfed the First Republic in the Western region started with the breaking of the mace. What we should therefore appreciate is that the political class, they've not learned their lessons at all.
Is it them or us?
The political class, because the people are at the receiving end now. And that is why the level of agitation, the level of awareness in the land is growing. People want to seize back the power.
What about we the people? Do you think we have learned our lessons too?
Yes, the people have learned their lesson.
How?
And that is why the awareness about the PVC card is growing by the day. Hitherto, the leadership had that funny belief that they are ordained to think for the people. That is no longer tenable. The people want to seize the initiative and take their own destinies in their hands.